So like this is like a first 6-week photo that's within the first 3 months. And there's a session by session progression. You see how fat it's swelled and how the hair is curling. Her hair texture is responding to the environment, to moisture. It's doing what it normally would do, but now it's in this pattern. So we want to make sure that we help it lock beautifully, do what it wants to do naturally within this pattern. So the more time that has passed, the harder it is to repair and refine. Please, please, please. So I have some photos that I found. Let me see. Yeah, this is not our work. I don't like to do this, but sometimes I come across things on social media, and I came across this other business's picture of their microlocs, quote unquote. And you could see that person's hair texture looks like it's a lot curlier. And so this was a finished picture. And as you can see, the roots are done, but the ends, and this is one snapshot of a video. It was more of the back that you could see. It was just really loose and puffy. And immediately my eyes went to the ends. That looks like it's colored. So the texture is probably even more texturized than what her soft curl is already. And I immediately went to, I would definitely go down that lock or either schedule a refinement or repair, or I would call it a repair appointment, and do those ends. And I have done those on people who, because they get hard to pull through. You might have ripping the hair from the scalp because you're trying to pull a fat piece of hair through a thin little square. And it just can like increase and exasperate hair loss and thinning of the locks, which, the thinner these thin locks get, the weaker they can get. So it looks like her hair might be around a year mark. So it's at that point where it really something should be done now. Otherwise, it's just going to be, the ends really fat. People say, well, they can cut off the ends, but then there's so many things, so many different factors that make it ideal to just start it as correctly as possible. When you get into cutting certain textures and you're getting to having still fat ends as the hair unravels, where you cut fresh, if you cut it blunt across as well. So it's just something I wanted to show an example of. Also, this person has some hair that matted, that became weak, and also thinks she has some hair loss medically, slightly, maybe some like nutritional or medical things happening, but the hair also matted together. It wasn't done as routinely, as consistently as it should have been. And then so there's all those locks that came out. So what I did was a repair where I actually reattached to that little puff of hair in the middle picture, locks to it. So like advanced techniques, you can get it. And so obviously the more skill someone has, the more they're able to do these repairs. But before it even gets to that point, we can do a lot of work to keep the hair as strong as possible. So like I said, people can go through some normal life experiences when your hair changes and still have the strength of your locks from the root all the way down to the end. And it's only when something is extreme or there's extreme neglect or overlook or oversight of things that can be done sooner where you'll have to do some more advanced repair if it's even possible. So that's those are some of the main things that I've seen. So I want to get into, I'm blocking some of this. So I'm going to make myself a little bit, out of the way. Okay, so these are some keys to flawless microlocks that last and look beautiful for years. I'll always say this, that you start with a great foundation method. You cannot expect beautiful and strong results on a poor foundation. You can't expect to build a beautiful house that sustains all types of weather and storms. As an example, if my foundation of the house is weak and if the basement floods and it rots, and you know what I mean? So that's the first step to start with. And making that initial investment could potentially save tons of money, a lot of headache and a lot of time trying to fix things or redo things. So I always say that foundation, and a great foundation also will get you through tough times. For instance, long extended period of times between retightenings, even pre-pandemic. I was an example of a person who had extended periods of time between getting my own hair retightened or doing my own retightenings, and I still have that problem sometimes. But it was um, full disclosure, we go through things in life, right? I went through postpartum depression. I went through a whole lot, and my hair would literally be 9 months between retightenings, which is extremely crazy and not a good role model or a good example. But what I would tell my clients and the people that worked with me, and who had helped me retighten, we would always say the foundation is still great. You did not lose any locks. And it was after I had COVID that I lost the first locks. My hair was already 13 years old. So, and things like that. We don't know what COVID and all these other illnesses could do that we didn't expect. But a great foundation will still go very far. The second point is in ensuring that the proper repair is done at the proper time. Now, waiting too long to address an issue, or knowing what is within a normal range and what is something that would be something that needs to be addressed. Because there are certain things I said that are normal: swelling, fuzziness a little bit. With the hair you saw in the previous picture, the hair that was like really curly and kind of coming out. Not coming out, but it looked like it was coming out. But when you went and pulled that lock and pulled it down, you could still see the pattern. You could still see the hair pulled in, but her hair still curled. It had a lot of shine. It still had a lot of oil because it wasn't fully matted. That's different than if it were just loose. I do want to say this too. I've been biting my tongue. I'm not saying names or anything, but I typically don't like to judge or talk negatively. I'm only using this as an example of someone who was like really interested in getting quote unquote microlocs. I say quote unquote because what she got was from someone, and it kind of made me a little more than a little upset. Someone installed what she called microlocs. And it was kind of bizarre how it was obvious to me she wasn't very skilled, but she was like posturing as if she were. So she were doing the whole entire head was loose, and she'd only do the very roots. And I've never seen that method, and said that it would lock on its own. And I said, what? I said, you can, I kindly gently nudged that maybe she can come into some of the free trainings or just join, like get some more support, especially with other pros, not just me, but other pros who've done it. But I was just astounded that that was what was being shown as something professional. You don't just do a small amount and leave a lot of hair out. It's basically an afro and expect it to lock on its own. It will not. Our hair will mat if we don't do anything to it. What we're doing is, I've always said I used to say control chaos, and I think someone created a business with that name. I love that term though. Our hair is not chaos. Our hair is doing what it does naturally. We are harnessing that and allowing it to do what it's doing naturally, but creating a pattern or a guide within which it will do that. So it can only go but so far, and it will do what it used to do naturally around this pattern. So I just had to mention that. I don't know if anybody else has ever seen anything like that. I've never seen anything like that. And so there was a lot of problems, obviously. Also understanding that the crucial locking, you got to understand the crucial locking stages, like what it contains, like we went over, in order to maximize the strength and results, and provide the correct care and maintenance routine for each phase. I'm going to go back to the phase, so I'm going to let you take a screenshot if you like. I'll make the screen big and you can take a screenshot if you'd like to. Keep this as a guide. Give me a second because my screen is. So if you like, go ahead and take a screenshot of that. And those are like the basic areas of it. So, okay. Any questions so far? Okay. So it's also important to understand the right method and type of locks based on factors like lifestyle, skill level, access to support, etc. Because sometimes the methods that we want or the things that we want, it may not be conducive to the type of lifestyle. It should be with proper care, but sometimes we just have to find what is best for us, and how much attention and resources and support can we put into ensuring that the results we have will be the best for us and look the best for us. I have a lock quiz. It's just a free quiz, and it's just to find out the type of locks that are best for you. When I mean type, I mean, do you are small? And I use interwoven line pattern technique because I found that to be the most resilient for small micro-sized locks. Is that a type that you is best for you to start, or are traditional locks the better way for you? Um, or some people might really be good for like free form. Like there's so many different personalities and different types of people, and I think knowing a bunch of factors could really help you find what is good for you. For me, and for a lot of people probably watching this who have these locks, we were willing to make that investment in time, and we either had access to resources or we were willing to get what we needed to ensure that we had top results. Sometimes people are like, "Listen, I don't want to do my hair, like, and I have a professional to go to." And sometimes people are like, no. And so there's been like about 2,000 people that have taken this quiz already. And I see most of the results. And oh yeah, I'll put the picture up for you again. And so there are people that are like, I'm not interested in small, like extremely small locks. And some people are like, I want them bigger, but I do like the interlocking or interwoven lock pattern, which is a more appropriate term for locks, because they are, the maintenance and care is different. So you weren't able to get the picture. I'll put it back up again. Yes, I got you. Able, not ego. Okay, and I actually have some YouTube videos where I go more in depth, and I have um, a person who's been through the process, also joining in that YouTube video. I'll try to post it to the group if I'm gonna find it and post it. And we go more in depth, like really go in depth on those phases. I just kind of summarized what I thought to be some of the most significant ones, but I can break it down even further than this. And she has I feel like a really good example of a hair texture because it is like fine, soft, but thick. She's one of my models, but I don't have her picture queued up on here. So her hair definitely has evolved very nice. We had to do a lot of work to do it. So you got it, great. Is there any questions that you have um, while I'm here live that you can ask, or if you're watching the replay, you can definitely put it in the bottom and we'll try to get to them. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. And any questions after this, drop them in the comment section below. Bye.